Salaam for having me here. I'll say Gwe Nindele is Margaret Robinson, Lewat Eskigawagi Mi'kma'ki. Hi, I'm Margaret Robinson. I'm from Mi'kma'ki. And as you just heard, I've been doing community-based research since my dissertation. I'll start by talking a bit about community-based research writing. What is it? Well, it's any writing that takes place in a community-based research project. So this might be academic papers, it might be community reports, it might be institutional reports, like a report to a particular organization. And it might be fact sheets that summarize key findings from the study. It might be policy papers. So these are usually short. They're intended for politicians or people who make decisions in government and organizations. And they usually specify concrete, specific things that you should do to improve life for the people related to the study. And so it's usually a set of recommendations, fairly succinct. And so it's a different animal than a bigger paper. But I would also include under community-based research writing that uses community-based research principles. So these are principles of collaboration, of putting the relationship first, sometimes above all the other priorities. Community-based research tries to disseminate findings and knowledge to the broader community and to involve all of the participants in that process. And so I see community-based research writing as a way to do community-based research, to sort of express those principles, but also to enact the principles in the life of our project. So other reasons we might want to do community-based research writing with folks is to build skills in our co-authors. To demystify the academic processes with our community partners. A lot of community partners might want to be involved in research, but they don't know exactly what goes on behind the scenes. They don't know what's involved in running a research project, and they don't necessarily know how things get written. And so if they're involved in that process every step along the way, then that demystifies the process and helps them understand it more. And they're more likely to be involved in community-based research as a result. You can also think about writing and community-based research as a form of branding. So you want to be able to present yourself and your team to the public and to others in the fields in which you work in a way that represents you as a person, as a scholar, as a research team. You want to do things that, in general, we might say fall under branding. So the way I see this coming forward in writing is in terms of responsibility. So our name is on the paper. That makes us responsible for what is said in it. The fact that there were 7 other writers doesn't make me personally less responsible for what's said in the paper. So I try to be really careful about how things I put my name to frame the issues that they write about and how we discuss participants and how we discuss their data. So if you're involved in a group writing project and there's something in it that you don't like, something that you think is not what you would be willing to say in public, step away from that project, because you have to think about how, I mean, in marketing terms, they'd say protecting your brand, but I see it as responsibility. So as a two-spirit person, I think part of that identity involves community service. And I see responsibility to represent our communities accurately and positively to be part of that responsibility. Why would we co-author something? Well, part of it is to acknowledge the expertise of community members. They have a lot of knowledge to share, sometimes a lifetime of experience. And just because it isn't acknowledged through a degree doesn't make it less. I also think it improves the accuracy of our science when we ground our writing in the experience of the community from which the participants come. So the more accurate our work is, the better the science is. And so co-writing with people who were part of the project from the get-go, or who were part of the group that was from which the participants were coming, that improves the grounding of the science. And so I think our writing is stronger when we work with people who are participants or community members. And writing builds those relationships, like I mentioned. I think it can also be a way to take seriously some of our indigenous values. So in the Mi'kmaq Nation, we have a value of Etowoptimuk, which people usually translate as two-eyed seeing. It's about being able to see multiple perspectives and bring multiple perspectives to an issue. And it's the basis for our government. We have consensus decision-making. And so I see community-based and group writing as a way to express this Mi'kmaq value of consensus building. And so I try to put the relationship first because community-based research is relationship focused. If you end a community-based research project and no one wants to talk to you anymore, that project was a failure. And so even above producing great written works, ending the project in a good way where people are still happy about their time with you, that's important. And so you have to think about how to put the writing project in a way that's going to support people to feel good about that engagement, that relationship.